Hey guys, this is Jalen Milroe, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Greetings from Daytona, where a band of dreamers took a strip of beach and turned it into a proving ground. The great American race, where year after year, greatness is the destination. So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. Once you arrive, you'll never look back. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover, and welcome to August. Crimson Tide football will be played later this month. They've started on the practice field. It's an exciting time here in Tuscaloosa, and we're glad to be with you from our studios today. We'll take a look at everything coming up on this show and our headlines thanks to our friends at RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They give us a smart board to go through everything in a real interactive way with what's coming up on the show, plus our headlines. We mentioned football. So much buzz for the Crimson Tide heading into the season, especially because of the quarterback, Jalen Milroe. He'll join us for a quick conversation to detail the start of fall camp coming up and look back to some victories in the spring that Alabama had and ways that the Crimson Tide got better under head coach Kalen DeBoer. Jalen Milroe will be our first guest coming up. Then we'll switch things up a little bit to basketball. We had a great sit-down conversation around 30 minutes with Mo Dioubate from the men's basketball team. Tremendous freshman campaign. He will detail what's been going on this summer with Crimson Tide basketball before they hit the practice floor coming up this fall. Then we'll go right back to football, to the Thomas Drew practice fields, take our first look at Crimson Tide football practice from yesterday, plus hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer, with his first coach's checklist on Crimson Drive for fall camp. Fall camp. We are so excited it's here for the Crimson Tide football team. Again, it started yesterday, as you'll hear Coach DeBoer later on talk about. Things have changed up a little bit for Alabama, practicing in the morning, something to get used to for the players and coaches, but they have started not only yesterday, but back on the practice field today as well. There will be a total of 20 practices, including a couple scrimmages at Bryant-Denny Stadium before the Crimson Tide take on Western Kentucky coming up on August 31st. Fan Day, we're going to talk more about this coming up next week on our show, but Sunday, August 11th, that'll be at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's presented by Yay Alabama. You need to be a member of Yay Alabama for the autograph opportunity. The practice will be open to the public, but to get autographs, you need to be a member of Yay Alabama. We'll talk more about that coming up next week as we look forward to Fan Day and everything coming up with the Crimson Tide football team. Some other notes around Alabama athletics. Last week we detailed all the Olympians that have been either current student athletes, former student athletes, even somebody like Justin Spring, an assistant coach for the gymnastics team. We've been watching him as a color commentator for men's gymnastics on NBC. A full rundown of every success that Alabama's had in terms of the Olympics in Paris can be found at RolledTide.com. We've certainly enjoyed seeing some of the standout performances. Speaking of gymnastics, Luisa Blanco, Shallon Olsen representing Colombia and Canada respectively extremely well out in Paris. A little more football. The Lank documentary was announced earlier this week. It will premiere Friday at 2 o'clock on all Alabama athletics social media platforms, so we look forward to hearing about that, about the transformation from Jalen Milroe, Terrion Arnold, and ideas, a saying they had to each other that became an NIL phenomenon and something that reached across all sports a season ago. So that story will be told coming up tomorrow at 2 o'clock and then available on demand on all Alabama athletics social media platforms. Soccer team getting close to starting the soccer season next Wednesday, taking on LSU. It is just an exhibition, not a full SEC matches. The soccer team is just starting practice, official practice coming up this week, but a great look coming up at the Alabama Soccer Stadium coming up next week against LSU as they'll get ready for the regular season that's just around the corner. Women's basketball, a lot of preseason accolades for Christy Curry and the women's basketball team here at Alabama as the Crimson Tide. Pretty much, we have this one listed number 22 by ESPN, but basically any organization that's putting out a preseason top 25 has Alabama listed in the top 25. So certainly a lot of excitement for that program as they get closer to their season starting in November. Of course, football starting this month. Practice already starting this week, and Jalen Milroe is, of course, the quarterback of the Alabama Crimson Tide. He joins us today on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, to detail the start of Fall Camp 2024. Welcome back inside Bryant-Denny Stadium to the Advantage Center studio. I'm Roger Hoover. Now pleased to be joined by the quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Jalen Milroe. Jalen, it is the first week of fall camp. Roll Tide. How good does it feel to be back with your teammates?
It's awesome because now we're finally here. You know, the offseason is so long. You don't have a shot clock, so we're on our timing. You know, we always try to separate the offseason into 4 stages. Number 1, fourth quarter program. Then branching out into spring ball, summer 1, summer 2, and July is always the hardest. He's so anxious to get the season going. So we're finally here. So we're super excited, and you know, we're just super just passionate about each other, and we're just trying to improve.
I know going back to last year, you've loved your interviews with us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, but, I mean, you've had a lot of media exposure recently, whether it was the celebrity softball game at Rickwood Field a few weeks ago. Tell us about your trip to New York that you've had. I mean, the college football video game. Has that part of the summer been fun for you?
It's been awesome, especially because football is a beautiful vehicle to allow you to meet a lot of great people and also put you in position to do a lot of things that you didn't see prior to being in this field of college sports. And so it's been awesome. It's been a great transition as far as spring ball to now summer. And one thing that's most important is that, you know, I'm able to be an ambassador for University of Alabama, just speak positive about our program, our university, and it's been awesome, you know. And then especially, you know, now when we just get closer to the season, is that we're just super excited because of just you know, everything that's been going on.
Speaking of the video game real quick, I know I've won a lot of games with Alabama with you making some nice plays at quarterback. Have you been hearing from a lot of friends and family or classmates sending you screenshots or videos being like, hey, you just did this against Tennessee, LSU, stuff like that?
It's been awesome to have a game come out. A lot of people were waiting on the game to finally come out. So now to have it has been awesome. You know, it's just been great to, you know, this is something that us as players, you know, we get to hang out and just play the game now. You know, it's another opportunity just to build a relationship all together. So we try to use that as much as possible to play the game. And it's been fun. It's been fun to have that. And, you know, it's been pretty cool.
Really cool to see. But I know you're focused now on the on-the-field football. How do you guys build on everything you learned in the spring, getting to know Coach DeBoer and the new system that's in place? How do you build on that these first few weeks of camp?
Separating into short-term goals and long-term goals. I think that's very important. And with those goals, you can now make bullet points between those and that you can try to achieve. And that's something that, you know, we try to have as a group. Coach DeBoer talks about relentless pursuit to continuous improvement. And so once you have that mind made up in that sense, you can honestly just keep building and keep on improving. And that's very important. You know, players that we have on the team are player-led. A lot of guys that are buying into the program. One thing, you know, that I love to mention is that, you know, you can go on any of our players, no matter the string that they are, and they should have the same mindset as someone that's starting in a sense of a team goal. We should all have the same goal as a team because we're locking arms. You know, I use the analogy of a pencil. You know, you have one pencil, you can break it easily. The more you pile them together, the more and more you have. I use that as a team's sake. Is that, you know, it's hard to beat a team. It's hard to get in between them, and that's how we should have lock arms between each other and just kind of just talk about the, you know, the relentless pursuit to continuous improvement.
And how about the work the wide receiver room has done? Because there are some faces we saw in the spring or even going back to last fall, but there are so many new faces. Just how impressive is that group getting ready for the year?
Very impressive. You got to start with the leader in the room, which is Coach Shepard. He's going to put them in position to be successful. I'm super excited to have him here, you know, just to have a firsthand experience with him this spring. And now just the relationship piece that he's built with that room is very, very awesome. And before you can demand critique anything out of a player, you got to build a relationship. And he's done that with that whole room. They all love him, respect him, and they're just, you know, wanting to pull for him. But, you know, each guy in that room is very special and they're very unique in their own way. We have a lot of great talent in the room, from veteran down to freshmen with experience and inexperience that, you know, the biggest thing in that room is the confidence level. It's a very confident room. We have guys that's constantly just trying to get better. And like I mentioned, you know, it's led from Coach Shep.
In just a couple of words, how would you describe this offense, what we're going to see this year?
Very explosive. Very explosive group. We talk about Big O. Everything we do is big. And it's not a one-dimensional team. We have a lot of elements to our game that we can use and utilize as a group. And so that's the most exciting thing. We're not one-dimensional.
We're really excited. Well, Jalen Milroe, thank you for joining us this first week of fall camp. We look forward to having you back in the studio. Hopefully a lot more coming up this fall. But thank you for your time. Roll Tide.
And thank you. Roll Tide.
There it is. Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR, and you can experience racing like never before. From the sandy beaches of Daytona to the high banks of one of the most exciting superspeedways on the NASCAR circuit, don't miss out as NASCAR kicks off the 2025 season with the Daytona 500 on February 16th, 2025. Witness history in the making and purchase your tickets today at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. We continue on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, and we'll get back to football in just a moment. Really enjoyed our conversation with Jalen Milroe, but we have another student-athlete interview focused on Crimson Tide men's basketball. It's been a busy year for Mo Dioubate in his first year as a member of the Crimson Tide. He's part of the best team in program history, reaching the Final Four. He talks about that, his growing up in Queens, New York, and decision to join Alabama, plus not only thoughts on his freshman year, but some thoughts on what the Crimson Tide have been doing this summer to get ready for his sophomore season. Here's a one-on-one conversation with Alabama men's basketball's Mo Dioubate. Roll Tide and welcome back to Bryant-Denny Stadium. We're at the Advantage Center inside our podcast studio. I'm Roger Hoover, now joined by Crimson Tide basketball sophomore Mo Dioubate, fresh off a Final Four run. You even got the Final Four shirt on. Roll Tide. It's good to see you, Mo.
Thanks for having me.
Well, a fun freshman year for you and the Crimson Tide this past year, not only having your transition to college basketball, but then the deep run in the NCAA tournament. What are you proud of the most when you think back to your freshman year?
Just learning everything I can from the guys and, my teammates, and obviously making it to the Final Four. But, it took practices, steps, it took us day by day to get there. So, that whole process right there was just, that's what I just took in the most,
This team had to be really hungry to make a type of run that it did in March Madness, even as you've been doing some workouts in June and July. Do you still feel that intensity in the way this team is trying to work each and every day towards the season?
Yeah, and, our practices and workouts are extremely intense. Like Coach said, it starts in June. It's them days in June, that's going to get us prepared for March and the SEC tournament, et cetera, so...
Yeah, so a lot of hard work at this time of the year. How about strength and conditioning? What's been your focus there with Henry?
I'm in Explode group, so, I've been working on, being quicker, jumping higher. Obviously I got a good frame, but, I work in that a little bit as well, work on my balance, stability. So, yeah.
So when you're talking about jumping higher, is that a lot of box jumps, a lot of plyometric stuff? What does that look like?
It's a mixture of a lot of things. He got Henry, he's very, serious with his work. He does a lot of research on this. So, we just don't lift heavy weights. He try to give us workouts that's going to translate to the court. So, it's a lot of mix of different exercises.
Henry Barrera, the strength coach for the Crimson Tide, it's pretty cool how much technology he uses, especially the sensors on you guys in practices or in games. Was that something you'd seen before, and what kind of feedback do you get from that?
That was my first time coming to this program where I have used that kind of technology. It just tracks our player load, how much we run, how high we jump in practice. So, I get some good feedback, on practice days and stuff.
Any of that surprise you at times? Be like, I didn't know if I had it that day or I had more than I thought I had.
It honestly do surprise me, seeing the amount of miles we run in a week or in a practice. So yeah, it's you don't think about it, you just do it. So seeing the results after, you're like, wow, I really did this much.
If you can remember how many miles are typically in a practice, maybe not around a game or anything like that.
In a practice, sometimes it could be like 3 miles. 4 sometimes.
That's really good. So again, that's all part of the hard work you're putting in to make sure the Crimson Tide ready to go for your sophomore season. But let's back it up a little bit. First of all, where'd you grow up? What got you into basketball?
I'm from Queens, New York, born and raised. What got me into basketball was my brother that's a year older than me, Nakuma. He was playing basketball, and he was really good when I was younger, and I was living with my mother at the time, and he was living with my dad. So once I moved back to my dad's house, I was around my brother more, and I seen like how good he got in basketball, and like all the kids in the area, they it was like, he's the one, So he kind of got me into it because I was playing soccer at first. I was playing basketball, but it wasn't as serious as soccer. So once I seen how good my brother was, I was around him a lot. So I just adapted to playing basketball more.
Pretty good soccer player too.
Yeah, I'm decent now. I was better when I was younger, but I could still play a little.
Do you still do some pickup or different things like that?
Sometimes, I come from a soccer family, so my brothers are always playing soccer. So sometimes I just hop in with them,
When did you have your growth spurt?
I actually grew, I didn't grow just at one time. Like, it was like every year I would grow like 2 inches, an inch. So it was like, throughout from my 8th grade year to, I say about like my junior year, I was just growing like an inch or two every year from that time on, until I got to where I'm at now.
And when you started getting into high school, how competitive was basketball in New York? I mean, I think everyone thinks of it as the mecca of basketball in a lot of regards.
It was real competitive, especially playing varsity as a freshman. Coming in, like, the guys, they were more experienced than me. They were like stronger than me, and they knew the game better than I did at that level. So it was competitive at first, but as time progressed, I caught up to those dudes, and we was all playing at the same level.
Is that a pretty good feeling, knowing that, okay, I may be one of the youngest guys out here, but I'm beating some, juniors and seniors and much older players?
That always been my mentality since from like the 2nd and 3rd grade when I was playing soccer with the older dudes. Like, I knew I was better than them. I just had to, get the opportunity to show everyone that I was, and I did. So I stay with that mentality always,
And I'm sure it started from having a great older brother, right?
Yeah, definitely.
When did you start to hear from a lot of colleges? When did that start to get more on your radar as you were at Putnam Science Academy?
It started like about like a few months before I got to Putnam. It was during COVID time. Everyone was home at the time, and it was a tournament in New York, and it was like that was like the first tournament where everyone started coming outside again, and I played like 2 games. I had like great stats, and it was people that started to come outside and stuff, and they started to see me, because they haven't seen anyone play in a long time because of COVID. So once I, came out, I did what I did, and it was around my like junior year where I started, picking up offers from different schools.
And looking at your high school career as well, you guys were very successful at Putnam Science Academy. What made that a special team you were part of?
We had a lot of talent both years that we won the national championship. It was so much different talent. Different guys going to different Division I schools. And we all was hungry. We was doubted a lot, and we all had a hunger to us. Like we gotta win this. Like, what I'm saying, both years. So that was really special.
And then you kept it going a year later at Alabama. I mean, it sounds the exact same.
Yeah, it translated pretty well. Mm-hmm.
So after your senior year time as well on the EYBL circuit, how meaningful was that towards your college career?
Oh, the EYBL helped me a lot. That's why I got a majority of my offers from the EYBL to the NBA Top 100 camp. From like that month or so, like that helped me a lot. That's why I picked up Alabama from the NBA Top 100 camp, and they first see me play at the EYBL in Indiana. So that helped my career a lot. I picked up a lot of schools, that I always wanted since a kid. So yeah, that helped me tremendously.
Where were you kind of thinking you were heading before EYBL? Like, if you hadn't played in that circuit, where do you think you may have ended up?
I know I always wanted to be like where I'm at now. I like a good school, a good program, and playing at a high level. I had a certain kind of ignorance to me. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna get here. So I never doubted myself. Like, oh, you're not gonna get here. I know if I just stay true to myself and do what I do, I'm gonna get there.
Was it Coach Oates that first saw you at that prospect camp, or another assistant who started to first talk to you about Alabama?
It was Coach Hassan, Brian Hassan. I think he the one that first seen me. And he started recruiting me. Oates he was also did a good job recruiting me. So yeah.
What'd you like when you talked to those guys and started to learn a little bit more about Alabama?
They was kind of like straightforward, and like the plan that they had, it made sense. You know what I'm saying? So you know, and it was like they wasn't, you know, trying to like just sell me this and that. They told me what it was. If I was to come, this how it's gonna be, you know. So that kind of, you know, really altered my decision, I'll say.
Did they show you a lot of film and show you like different, you know, comparisons, how you can fit in the offense and defense?
They showed me that, the offense, my player comparison. They did a good job just, you know, showing me everything and telling me everything I need to know. So, yeah.
Did you get a chance to come here before you made your decision?
Yeah. I came on a visit. The football team, they was playing Texas A&M. So that was I also had a great visit too. So that kind of what also, you know, made my decision as well.
What do you remember most? What was really fun that weekend you guys got to do?
I met Nick Saban. I met him on game day. That was special. You know, just talking to him and taking all the knowledge I can. And just being with the guys. I seen how close they were together, all the players and stuff. And that kind of made me like, oh, all right, I see how it is over here. Mm-hmm.
That's really good. So you get to signing day, you make the decision to put that Alabama cap on. I saw the live stream of it. How meaningful was that day for you and your family once you made your decision to go to Alabama?
Man, I was happy. You know, just knowing that I could go to school for free and not having to worry about that. It was a great feeling. And also my recruitment process, it was kind of tough for me, you know, just, you know, talking to different schools, you know, and all of that. So when I committed, I was just relieved. I was like, yo, you know, I'm a step closer.
And then you get to Alabama, and then, like you said, the work has to begin. I mean, and Alabama was coming off a great season the year before, SEC champions, high seed in the NCAA tournament. What was most important for you once you started to make your first workouts in Crimson and start to get to know your teammates and coaches?
It was good. Honestly, when I first came, Javon Quinley, JQ, he was here the first week. I was here before I got surgery and everything. So just playing with like guys like that I, you know, seen like growing up, those are guys I seen play a lot. So, and the guys that like we look up to. So just even seeing that right there, I'm like, oh wow, like this is dope, you know.
And then you get some really talented teammates on last year's team, starting with guys like Mark Sears, Grant Nelson, Aaron Estrada. I mean, the list can go on and on, but just seeing how those guys went about their work, did that really teach you how to be a college basketball player?
Yeah, especially Aaron. Aaron is always in the gym, like always in the gym. So that's one thing that I picked up from him. You know, at the time he was there, you know, he's always in the gym. Like no matter what happens, he's always in the gym. And obviously guys like Mark as well, he worked very hard. So yeah, that's what I picked up from those guys, how hard they work, and you know, they had a certain routine, consistent routine and stuff. So yeah, I picked that up from them.
Season begins. You guys are able to get some wins. A lot of them at home here in Tuscaloosa. Went down the Emerald Coast Classic as well. But then in December, there was a really tough 3-game stretch. Purdue, Creighton, Arizona. What'd you guys learn from those 3 games?
We learned after them games, like when adversity hits, we got to stay together. Like no matter what happens, like we got to stay together, you know. And I felt like what made us lose those games was probably because like we was thinking about the last game, you know, going to the next game. Like, so once we learned, like, you know, next play, you know, next game, whatever the case may be, I feel like that helped us. That helped us a lot, even going into the SEC tournament. Like from those games we lost, like we learned like next play, next game, whatever happened, you know, we just gotta stick together.
How much did that pay off in March Madness with the great run in the tournament?
It helped us a lot. It really helped us a lot. You know, even when adversity hit, some of those games, like the first game, we were down. Versus Charleston. You know, and we remember like Mudita, stick together. next play. Don't worry about next play. Just positive energy coming from the guys on the bench, the guys on the court. Everyone was just bought in, so that helped us a lot.
You bring up the concept of Medina, having joy for your teammates' success. Coach Murphy got to talk to you guys about that. What was it like getting to know him, and how meaningful was that message that he shared with his team?
That was. I like Coach Murphy. He's a good guy. He vouches good about me. So that's one reason why I respect him. But that Mudita thing right there, it made us closer. Made us, even though we probably already knew it, but it made us like remind us of like we brothers. We gotta have each other backs at all times. Cheer your brother on if he does a good play, get a 3 or a dunk. Just bring the energy to the team, to him. Is only gonna help us.
You certainly did that as a freshman, had some good performances, including the Mississippi State game here at home. 14 points, I believe 9 rebounds. You got the hard hat for your blue-collar play. How meaningful was it to get your first hard hat?
It was amazing because, the first about 20 games went by. I seen all of the other guys get it, and I know how hard they work. So, and they know how hard I work too. So just getting that right there, it was like, all right, man, I got to do it again and again and again because the feeling was good. So I'm like, I got to keep doing this.
Yeah, the celebration for the hard hat in the locker room when we see the Aaron Hepps videos afterwards, it's almost bigger than the game celebration, right?
It is. You got guys competing to get that in the game, and it just makes us play hard on the court.
Was it easy for you to kind of pick up how intense you have to play defense? So did you like that from the start, or did it take a little bit to kind of get in that mentality?
I say the learning the system at first, because when I got on the court, when I first started playing, like practicing, it was like about like around mid-October or so, because I had surgery, so I was out. So me just coming back and trying to pick up with the other guys and stuff, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard for me. I was moving a little slower. I wasn't as athletic. I wasn't as fluid because I was out for about 4 months or so. So it was tough. But once I picked it up, it just became natural flow. Once I got in better shape and stuff, it became like second nature.
And we really saw that again during the NCAA tournament as well. You mentioned the comeback win against Charleston, and then you really impacted the Grand Canyon game in the second round by scoring the majority of Alabama's points down the stretch. How did you want to impact the game? What made that a great performance for you?
I just stayed ready, honestly. I just let the game come to me. I didn't force anything. It's almost like it was meant to happen. Like, I was in the right spots. I made all my layups, made my free throws, and I was locked in. I was like fasting as well, so that gave me like an extra boost of like just locking in and energy. So I just let the game come to me, and I was just flowing. I felt it once I got my first layup. I'm like, all right, I'm on to something.
Yeah, you mentioned you were fasting during that time, during Ramadan. I believe Mohamed Waghi was as well. How'd you guys stay hydrated or the proper nutrition? I know Amanda put together a really good plan for you guys to help support you during that time.
Yeah, so basically we would wake up at 3 in the morning perhaps and, have a little snack, and then we would go back to sleep. Or we would stay up until about 4:40 perhaps, and we would, eat our food, hydrate a lot of hydration. We try to eat as much as we can, so we could be good the next day. So we was constantly doing that every day, because we went like 16 hours without eating, 17 hours without eating. So we tried our best to hydrate and get as much nutrition in our body as we can. So Amanda, she did a real good job helping us with that, preparing our food. And when it was time to eat, that was the best feeling, when it's time to eat.
Didn't the fast end like during the end of that Grand Canyon game or near the tail end of one of those games?
Yeah. It was Charleston.
Gotcha. First game.
Charleston.
Yeah.
It was like 4 minutes left of the game where we got to break our fast. So yeah.
And that was part of a long trip for you guys out west. First Spokane, then to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Got to come home for like a second, and then right back to Phoenix.
2 days the most.
Did you guys, I mean, even though you'd been together for a whole year at that point, how much more did that bring you guys so close together, that long trip?
It made us closer because like we haven't been on the road for that long together, so it's like if you're not used to talking to this person, you're gonna have to be used to it because you're around each other all day long. So that kind of, and we didn't have no distractions like that. It was just like basketball, you know. So we got to connect on a deeper level, you know. Especially we all had the same goal. Everyone wants to win a national championship. So, you know, we seen how everyone was locked into this goal. So like, we gonna do it for this. We gonna do it to get a national championship.
Beat North Carolina, Sweet 16. Beat Clemson for the Elite Eight. How special was that celebration, knowing you were going to the Final Four?
Man, that was one of the happiest moments I got in college right there. You know, just knowing you're one game away from being in the national championship game. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I had so much people, you know, text me, call me, my family, you know, congratulating me and stuff, and it was surreal. Yep.
Did you have a lot of friends and family make it to Phoenix?
Yeah, I had a few family friends that made it here. My brother came out. One of my older brothers came out to support me and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool that Alabama gets to experience the program's first ever Final Four. I got to ask you, what was it like playing basketball really in a stadium designed for football, a very large venue, largest I'm sure you've ever dreamed of playing in?
It didn't even look real, honestly. Like, if we see fans so far away, I'd be like, yo, is that an actual person up there? Like, it was crazy. That's the most amount of people I played in front of. It was so real. It was so loud in there, you know. But it was a great experience. Yeah, I hope we could do it again this year.
Absolutely. A tough loss to UConn. Obviously, they go on to win the national championship. What was the message from Coach Oates to the team once that game was done?
Coach Oates, he was, you know, he didn't go in there mad, you know, that we lost and stuff. He had good spirits. He was like, you know, you guys play hard. You know, we tried our best to win this game. You know, I love and appreciate each and one of you guys, all of you guys in this locker room, you know, for helping us get to this point. At the end of the day, it's a loss, but look at it as a blessing. So that's pretty much the things he was saying and stuff.
So now you get back to work. You're ready to go for your sophomore season. We've talked about some of the work that happens in June and July. How is this team coming together? I mean, still some familiar faces coming in from last year's team like you, but how about the newcomers? What do you liked about this group?
We got some guys that play hard. I'll say that. Like LeBaron, he plays very hard. Chris, you know, Cliff. We got a bunch of guys that play hard, and we get along off the court as well as on the court. So, you know, that's special. That's like, you know, that's like one of the most important things you need in a team. You know, guys that get along and have a good bond. So we pretty much have that already. So, and on the court, you know, it's just we play for each other. So I got a good feeling about it.
What's it like going up against Cliff in practice? Pretty physical presence.
Yeah, Cliff. You know, Cliff is a dog. Cliff is a dog. I love playing against him though. It's like a challenge, you know, especially when I gotta finish around him a little bit. You know, also he don't want to foul me, so he don't want to, you know, play too hard defense. So it's I love playing against Cliff. He's, you know, he makes me better.
That's pretty good that he's already thinking at this point of the year about, you know, defending without fouling. That's a really good mindset to have.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you guys like to do away from Coleman Coliseum to have fun, especially during the summertime?
We pretty much just hang out. We go to each other's houses, or you know, we just chill. We play the game together. We just vibe with each other. You know, we could do it all day. Like, you know, yeah.
That's really good. Everybody in Tuscaloosa is excited, of course, for the school year to begin, but especially football season. How much do you like going to home games here at Bryant-Denny Stadium?
I love it, actually. You know, when I came on my visit, I was with the players on the team at the point, and it was like halftime, and they were all trying to leave. And I was like, yo, why y'all trying to leave? Like, the game was fun. They was like, yo, we've been to these games multiple times. We not trying to stand here all day. I'm like, come on, bro, let's just wait. Let's just leave at the end of the game. Come on, you know, that just tell you like how much you know I like going to the games in person. You know, the energy is just, the atmosphere is just different. So.
And Alabama's really good.
Yeah, and we're a good team. Like, you can't beat that right there.
Have you made some friends on the football team?
Yeah, I got a few people I'm cool with on the football team.
That's good. Who are they? Who are you going to be rooting on this year?
I'm rooting for everyone, but I'm rooting on Jahad Campbell, Niquel Betnard, the rest of the guys on the team, J Mill, all of them.
Yeah, we're excited. They're about to get going. We're excited for you guys as well. What's going to be most important the rest of the summer, and then once we get in that preseason work before we see you guys in November.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hard work. I mean, what else is going to be really most important for you all? But between now and then,
most important. I'll say most important. Just stay the course. Do what we've been doing. Just bonding. Consistent workouts, good communication, playing the game with each other, stuff like that. I feel like that's gonna be like the main thing, because we have the talent. We have the talent already. You know, if we get our chemistry off the course, it's gonna help us on the course. So if we just continue to do that, we're gonna be fine.
We can't wait to see it. Well, Mo Dioubate, thank you so much for the time you've given us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Best of luck with everything coming up. We'll see you again in the fall. Roll Tide.
Thanks for having me. Roll Tide.
Greetings from Daytona, where year after year, greatness is the destination. So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
Fun conversation with Mo Dioubate. You know, basketball is just around the corner, but this week, of course, we're focused on football, starting at the Thomas Drew practice fields here on campus at the University of Alabama. And yesterday, fall camp began. Kalen DeBoer starting his first year as the Crimson Tide's head coach. He was out there, and as you'll see in this video, he was very involved in practice on the first day. The same can be said for what we saw earlier this morning as well on campuses. Already 2 football practices are under the belt of this football team, gearing up for what's coming up on August 31st when the Crimson Tide start the season against Western Kentucky. But here, during the first week of fall camp, we wanted to show you what it looks like out there at the Thomas Drew practice fields for Alabama's early practices. This footage courtesy of the University of Alabama Athletics Department. Let's take a look at day 1 of fall camp.
Okay? First ball. Okay? Then we on to the next step. Okay? Don't worry about nothing. Okay? Swing it hard. out. Hey. Oh, break. Tackle. Tackle. Don't let them get you inside the string. Ready. Lower. Get a shot of water. Bring that water in. Hurry up. Ready. Reload. Oh. There it was, right there, plain as day. You're still stepping backwards. Here we go. Good. Wait. Yep. Step 2. Ready. Don't get that hip. Hold off. Wait. Yep. Ready. Hey, when you come out, get past the first. All right, here we go. Ready, go. Good hand level. Up. He's up. Get up. Good hand level. Get on man. Get your knees, get your chest. Good job. Now first.
Hi, I'm Mo Dioubate. This is Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Don't miss out on your chance to experience the energy and all the excitement of the Great American Race. Witness history in the making and purchase your tickets today for the 2025 Daytona 500 at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com. Our final segment here on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. You just saw portions of Alabama's first practice. Again, the footage provided by the University of Alabama. Now we want to hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer, get his thoughts as practice in the South is a little bit different. He'll talk about that, plus what's ahead for the Crimson Tide this week. Here is Coach's Checklist with Kalen DeBoer.
I think just like most first practices, great energy. Guys were excited to get out there. I can't remember really any event many times where you had to coach up the excitement and passion. That was all there. These guys have worked hard. We're excited about practice one. So, always going to be far from perfect, but each side had its moments and, made plays, and that's what you want. I love being the head coach in those times, right? Because the assistants, they want every play to be perfect. And so, they win half, they lose half the time. I get to win all the time because I just choose the side that wins on that play. But no, it's good having that give and take. And, I felt that's what we had. And, just welcome to the South, right? For me in particular, just practice and a little bit warmer than the rest of the summer. It hit us here with practice one. So guys grinded through it. I thought actually they kept getting stronger as the day went on, which is what you want to see. And, they kept their spirits high through the very last rep. Yeah, consistently just in this trajectory on up. I don't need him day one. I mean, you want every play to be amazing, explosive, but you just want him lining up right, doing the fundamental things, making the easy plays, and then, because of his ability, the big ones will come. So, when your route's on air, run a good route, catch the ball, accelerate out with good ball security, and you find those consistent fundamentals, and you stack days, and those plays that we know he'll be capable of making will happen. I don't have a huge, understanding of what he was a year ago other than watching on film, but it feels like he's in really good shape and lean. When you ask people who would have an understanding, Coach Ballou and so forth, it'd be nothing but positive about the progress he's made. Strength and explosive numbers I know are up. That's facts, that's real. And then also just the way his body looks, leaner. I mean, he's just so dense and he's got so much mass. He's gonna be big no matter what. So loved his demeanor out there. It's good to have him back. Good to have him here.
Well, football practice has started for the Crimson Tide, and back inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, you'll have a chance to see the Crimson Tide as they have their practice on Sunday, August 11th, and here are the details. It's presented by Yay Alabama Football Fan Day. Gates will open at 10:30. That is free to the public. Now, at 1:30 p.m., there will be the autograph signing, but to take part in the autograph signing, get to meet your favorite Crimson Tide football players and coaches, you must be a member of Yay Alabama to join. So this is the perfect time this weekend to join Yay Alabama and make sure you're good to go for what's coming up on Sunday, August 11th. Yay Alabama Football Fan Day at Bryant-Denny Stadium for your chance to interact with the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's going to wrap up this edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to our guest that we had at the top of the show, Jalen Milroe, the quarterback for the Crimson Tide, as he helped us start football season here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network with his conversation, as well as Mo Dioubate. We're always thinking about Crimson Tide basketball. Great conversation with him as well. And then we appreciate the University of Alabama Athletics Department helping us out with the football practice video footage, plus Kalen DeBoer for Coach's Checklist. Thanks as well to Ethan Carabin. He set this entire show up, our video producer. For everybody at the Crimson Tide Sports Network, this is Roger Hoover thanking you for watching as we've made it to August. Football is coming up later this month, and we're glad you're with us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Till next week, when we do have a Crimson Drive driven by NASCAR at 2 o'clock next Thursday, and then after that, we'll be previewing Hey Coach coming up on Wednesday after that, August 14th. A lot of excitement coming up. We want to make sure you're part of it here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. But until then, have a safe weekend. Roll Tide.